All right. Welcome to my live stream. This is episode 221 of my live stream, and I'm going to be working on comics on this stream, which I'm really excited about. And then I'll probably play a quick game of Risk once I have flat colored another panel. Initially, I was going to allow myself to play a game of Risk after flat coloring the first panel, but I realized I want to push myself a little further, and so I'm going to actually color the second panel before I allow myself a game. Aside from that, who am I? I'm Joshua Kemble. I've been an illustrator and graphic designer professionally for about 20 years, a little over that. And I've been an art director for about 7 years. When I'm not art directing and doing graphic design and illustration, I am doing cartooning and comic books like Jacob's Apartment and Two Stories, which I'll play trailers for during this stream. And then outside of that, let's see. If you hear things in the background too, that is my son Benji kind of goofing around. It is a Sunday. And then aside from that, we're gonna work on Not Death But Love, the strange supernatural story of Elizabeth Barrett Browning, which is a historical fiction graphic novel. And it's a graphic novel about the Brownings and Elizabeth Barrett Browning's interest in spiritualism and seances and some really spooky, mysterious stuff that has never been told about Elizabeth Barrett Browning, but it's historically factual, which is really interesting. So anyhow, we're going to get into coloring panel 2. And then once I'm done with coloring panel 2 of this, I can allow myself a game of Risk, which I'm going to try to do on stream. So that's what the agenda is. With nothing more being said, we'll just get into the drawing section. So as usual, on my left, on your right, but on my left is basically my Photoshop, where I'm going to be working on coloring. And then below is this cam, which is basically just, I don't know, I have an extra cam, and it's kind of cool to see a view of the action going on the Wacom tablet. So that's basically the agenda. I think I will set up the Risk cam too, just in case we are able to get to a game. And right now we're just going to plug away and get comics done. So all right, everything that's in magenta on this page needs to be colored. And what my goal is during this stream is to color this second panel. And on our last stream, we had some really cool information from Adam Lohr. It sounds like Kevin Cross, my buddy, has signed off on the Hundreds anthology being kind of handled by Frank and Adam, which I think is really a cool idea. We'll see what comes of that, but it's kind of exciting. Okay, so color, we're going to go ahead and then if you see a couple streams back, Frank actually was on my stream talking about the anthology and the possibilities there. I have a couple pages pulled up so that I can stay consistent with my color. One of them is Wilson, which is good to know. I need to have Wilson's color palette. And that's great because I have Wilson's hair color, her eyes, everything like that, which I'm going to need to pull from. So that's good. All right. Without anything further being said, we're just going to go ahead and start plugging in pages. So here we go. And it sounds like Ben might be drawing along with us, which is kind of exciting. Can't wait to see what he draws.
Dad?
Yeah?
If you think that I'm drawing, but you're drawing, then you're wrong, because I'm drawing some Among Us.
Okay, so Ben's
going
to work on drawing some Among Us crewmates. I don't know if you guys have ever played Among Us. It's actually a really fun game, and Ben really likes it. Jim Lujan stopped by to say, just sat down in my easy chair with my spiral notebook, working on some character designs for the film. Glad you're keeping me company. Glad to keep you company, Jim. I saw a picture on Facebook of you chilling with Jim Gaffigan. And I know you've done art for Jim Gaffigan. This is Jim Lujan. Jim Lujan's animations. You guys should be following him. I know you've done artwork for Jim. I know for Jim Gaffigan. I know that he's given you shout outs before on social media, but I think this is the first time I've seen you meet him in person, and it was kind of fun to see you guys hanging out, and what a cool experience. And I hope it sounds like you guys went to see some of his stand-up or something, and I hope it was as good as it used to be, because that guy is killer funny. Yeah. So anyhow, but congrats on meeting Jim Gaffigan. That's pretty rad. Let's see here. Okay, so we're coloring Wilson, and we just have to kind of plug our way through this panel, which actually shouldn't be, like, comparatively, this panel should go way quicker than panel 1. Panel 1 was a beast to color. I almost gave up comics in the process. I almost was like, this is not worth it. I quit. But comics, I still love you, comics. I'm not gonna quit on you. I'm not gonna quit on you. All right, so let's do Wilson's hair. Wilson, by the way, I'm going to be referring to her. She is their maid. She has been a consistent character since the beginning. We haven't seen her for quite a few pages. But she is a really important character in the story. And it's kind of fun. It's one thing I love about working on this stuff, and I'm sure Jim can attest to this too. I'm sure this happens with animation. When you're working on these long projects, you really actually grow to know the characters you're working with. And so to me, it's like, I actually got kind of excited when Wilson came back in, because I was like, man, we had all these Wilson scenes. When do I get to draw Wilson again? And so when Wilson was coming back, I was like, sweet. Yay, Wilson. I'm like the audience member, the canned laughter and clapping that happened on sitcoms back in like the 70s and 80s. Early 90s, where like the favorite character like walks in and it's like the Fonz walks in and you just have everybody like, oh my gosh, losing their mind. I am that person for my own characters in this story. Well, I should say for Lavender's characters in the story. When Wilson came back, I was the audience member, like clapping and getting a teary-eyed, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's Wilson. Jim Lujan said it was the meeting of the Jims, best friends, truth. But yeah, some people may not know that about Jim Lujan, friend of the show, friend of Artcasters and stuff like that. Jim has done stuff professionally for Jim Gaffigan, like quite a lot. And Jim Gaffigan has definitely given Jim Lujan a lot of shout outs and stuff like that. Because I think Jim Gaffigan is a fan of Jim Lujan. And it's one of those great things where, like, I mean, those are the best scenarios where you're like a fan of somebody and they're a fan of your stuff too. It's kind of neat. Frank Salazar said Jim and Jim. Nice. And then Frank, I heard something about you guys getting the official blessing of Kevin Cross, which is kind of cool. So for actually doing the Hundreds anthology number 3, which is pretty rad. It's a reality. That's kind of cool. And I always feel like with anything like that, anytime there's something that should be done that you're like kind of looking at and you're like, hey, this thing, somebody should do this. And you see that like nobody's doing it and you decide to take up the mantle and kind of do it. kudos to you. Like, no matter how it turns out, at least you're trying. Like, who else is putting together a hundreds anthology right now? No one. So, you know what I mean? Like, worst case scenario, it's still better than, no attempt at all. Best case scenario is going to be awesome, and it will be awesome. But that's what I'm saying. Like, good on you guys for being bold enough to actually make that thing happen again. Frank said the Jimmies. It really is a bond of gyms. I think. I don't know, Jim, if this is true. I've heard there's like a secret society of gyms. I mean, I know that's true for Josh's. For some reason, anyone named Josh, we all kind of have a secret handshake. We have dark board meetings where we discuss world domination. When I'm playing the game of Risk on stream, it's actually our battle plans to try to take over the world. That's the secret contingent group that is the Joshes. And I'm wondering, I'm guessing that probably goes with everyone's name. I don't know, Frank, you guys, you must have that with Frank's, In fact, if you ever go by like a hot dog store that's like Bob's Frank's or something, it's actually a secret meeting place for the secret society of Frank's. Anybody like watching this, you might be surprised to kind of find out some of the things that are being revealed here on stream about secret societies, secret handshakes, secret groups of people with the same name, gyms, the Jimmies. Is that true, Jim? Am I off base there? Wait a minute. I don't think I'm getting a response. I hope Jim is still there. I hope nobody like took out Jim because they're like, they found out. They found us. Actually, honestly, I hope I make it to the end of this stream revealing these secrets. So there's your tension, guys, for the stream. Does the secret society of Josh's come and just take me out? They're like, he said too much. He told too much. I don't know, Frank. Do you think? I don't know. Are the Franks really mad now that I've revealed their secret meeting spot? I don't know. This could be a really dangerous game I've just started. In fact, honestly, this could be the kind of thing where it's like the most dangerous game, where maybe like some old guy with like a rad corduroy jacket with patches on the elbows comes by, and he's got like a hunting rifle, and he's like, we're going to play a game, Mr. Kemble. And I'm like, what's that? And he's like, it's the most dangerous game. No? I don't know. I'm here all night, guys. Or day. All right, so I am now coloring the skeleton. I think I revealed too much. I think everybody disappeared. It's a little strange, guys. I thought I was joking. It's gonna be like one of those movies where there's like or stories like The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, where it's like somebody just kind of goofing around and daydreaming, and then it turns out they're correct. Now, I like the original Secret Life of Walter Mitty. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. I can't remember the actor who was in it, but it was a really great kind of classic movie. Very funny, but pretty amazing. And I did see the remake, like the kind of more recent attempt at it that was done by Ben Stiller, I think, and it was okay, but it didn't quite have the magic of like the old school one. The weird thing though is that original Secret Life of Walter Mitty is actually kind of hard to get a hold of. So I don't know exactly if it's on streaming platforms. I would imagine Amazon must have it where you could rent it, because it is like one of those old movies.
And I'm going to make an additional one very soon.
But it's a pretty good movie. When I was a kid, we used to have it.
I'm going to make soon is going to be the year's button.
When I was a young lad. All right, so we're coloring bones, guys. It's bone time.
The kill button. The dead body report button.
And I think Benji is coloring and creating
The sabotage button.
a bunch of the buttons from Among Us.
And then there's the vent button.
But yeah, it was cool to see. If you guys aren't following Jim Lujan on Instagram, what are you doing? You know, go give him a follow on Instagram so you can see him and Jim Gaffigan just kind of hanging out. Besties. Besties from the Westies. Okay. Right now, what I'm trying to do is basically like import all of the colors that have been used. I'm like grabbing all the colors that I've already decided. So Robert, I will fill him in. We're going to kind of get everything, but stuff like that present, we haven't really decided on a color yet. So that's cool. I get to kind of invent. So that should be pretty fun. For Robert, we're going to kind of plug in the colors. I think, okay, we don't need his eye color yet. It's funny, we had like a really thriving chat. This is for you conspiracy folks out there. We had a pretty thriving chat for a few minutes. And then I went and spilled the beans about the secret names. It might have just been delayed by social media just trying to slow the roll of that conversation. Oh, okay. So yeah. There was just a delay. So we've got Frank saying we did. This is in regard to the 100s. He said we did, but I'm undecided if we should put it under the 100s name. And he said that's cool that Kevin reached out. Jim Lujan said hi, Frank. Frank said total Joshmanation of the world. And he said yes, he does have that with Franks. And he said the Franks are coming for you in packs. Jim is just showing you some of the Jim connections. Like you guys, if you're following along, just get your tack board and your yarn, and I'll give you a minute before I read all these connections. So tack board, yarn, possibly a really printer so you can run off prints of every name that I read, and then you can tack them to your tack board and connect yarns from like one image to the other. It's like a crafting section for conspiracy theorists. Oh my gosh, that's a really good bit. Jim, we need to remember that. I think you and I need to do a video that is like a parody tutorial video, but it's like explaining to people how to make the thread tack chart for a conspiracy theory. You're like, okay, guys, today we're going to work on our John F. Kennedy assassination theory. And we're going to just pull out our tack board and yarn, which you can get at any craft store. What do you guys think? Anyhow, so Jim said, Jim Gaffigan. Jim, does everybody have their tack board and yarn? I need to hear that, like, Are you guys all prepped? Give it another minute. I was about to go through the gems, and I don't know if I gave people enough time to participate with their crafts. Okay, tack board's ready. Got it. Okay, good. Okay, now we're going to read it. Jim Gaffigan, Jim Lujan, Jim Morrison, Jim Carey, Jim Brown, Jim Membership. Right. Did everybody get that? Everybody have the threads tying? Okay. Frank said, damn, Kai was in the original. I don't remember if I've seen it. And he said, I know a place on the high seas where you can watch the original. Oh, nice. That's in regard to the Secret Life of Walter Mitty, which is a really, like, if you can get a hold of the one, I think it was made in the 50s, but that is a really great movie. Like, the new ones, meh. But the original of that's like, I would love to watch that again. I really enjoyed that movie. Jim said he's actually an AI bot, and he said Illuhanati. Illuhanati. It's the Illuhanati. I like it. And then Frank said these bullet-shaped push pins are great for the magic bullet theory. Exactly, right? I just think that would be a good bit where you're like, but you kind of have to do it like a crafting video. Like maybe it's like somebody with like sparkly fingernails, like is just showing their hands. It's like an unboxing video, but it's like, and right now what we're doing is cutting out pictures of J. Edgar Hoover. And we're going to connect them to, like, you know what I mean? That just could be a really funny bit, is all I'm saying. All right. And we are making some progress here, folks. Making some slow and steady progress. I think we're going to be playing Risk before you know it. I think we're going to blink, and there's going to be world domination occurring. So Ben's still recovering from a cold, so you can kind of hear him sniffling in the background. I am recovered from a cold. I think I'm mostly recovered. I just felt a little groggy, but that's not that bad compared to how I felt Friday. Frank said, stinking autocorrect. Danny K, not damn K. I did think that was a little unusual, Frank. I was like, you're usually not like a cusser. Not, like, to me, that's not like a bad word, but yes, Danny K was the main actor in it. And I love that movie. So if you find out how to get a hold of it or watch it, let me know, because I would love to see that again. It's been a long time. I grew up watching that movie. I was a little bit, I'll be honest, I tend to think like with remakes and stuff like that, whatever, who cares, right? Like somebody took a stab at doing Psycho over again. I don't understand why. I didn't really feel like I just didn't see a purpose for it. Why remake a perfect movie? But sure, okay, take a stab at it. But for some reason, that one in particular really kind of bugged me, because I think it's because I watched that movie so much growing up with Danny Kaye that it was a little weird. It's just a little weird to see a kind of modern take of it. And again, more power to him, like if I don't like it, just don't watch it. But that was one of those remakes that kind of bugged me, where it was like, but the original's so good.
If the original was good, then the remake might be better. If I try to make the remake better than the original, that's exactly why they make remakes, Dad.
Oh, that's Ben just explained to me.
Better than the original.
Ben just explained to me. He said they make remakes to try to make it better than the original. I agree, and I think maybe that's why it bothered me because it wasn't better than the original. Jim Luhan says, "I feel you, Frank. Siri has messed up many a good joke for me." And then he said, "Many, not many, Siri." And then Frank said, "Siri strikes again." And when Jim was saying Siri, you have to imagine him like falling to his knees. It's like an overhead shot looking down, and he's going, "Siri." It's like the shot in Akira where it's like, "Canada." Siri. Okay. Paul said, "Hi, Josh. Hi, chat people." Chat people? Paul, chat people. Chat people would be a great kind of like new wave band from the 80s. I don't know. I have to ask Jim's advice on that. Do you think that flies? Jim is the king of coming up with fake band names, as well as hanging out with famous gems. So, Paul, you kind of missed our crafting time. We had crafting time earlier in this where we were doing crafting time for conspiracy theorists, where we were asking people to kind of pull out their tack boards and kind of their yarn that they got from Michael's, which they can get in any color, and kind of start piecing together their own tack board conspiracy chart. And you missed it, Paul. You missed it. And if you try to rewatch it, it's probably going to be edited out of this video because there's people who don't want the truth coming out. Jim said, "Chat people, one of my favorite Bowie songs." Nice. You guys remember Extras, the show Extras? I loved that show. But there was a part with David Bowie that is one of the funniest Bowie things I've ever seen in my life. Paul said, "You guys are the X-Files." And then Frank said, "Give it up for Paulie and the chat people." We are almost done with the flats for this panel. That makes me so happy, you guys. The Flats were also a really good underground punk band from the 1970s.
Scotch. I think I heard it doing something, and I really didn't like the sound of it.
All right. We just need to get rid of the background color. So if anybody here is interested in participating in an anthology, reach out to Frank, because Frank and Mr. Adam Lohr are putting together the Hundreds anthology again. And it's just beginning, but they've decided to take on the mantle. So Paul was asking, "Hey, did you get your movie done yet?" And he said, and then Jim said, "Yes, I'm on the sequel already." And Paul Pate said, "The Flats is an English house band." Nice. So good. Oh my gosh. I feel like we need to have like writers' room sessions. Like we need to have like a community developed gag comic. So when I'm done with this book and I inevitably do my Victorian jet ski story, I think I need to do it collaboratively with the community because we're pretty good at riffing on like taking a stupid premise and just kind of going with it, seeing what happens. There's untapped potential here, guys. There's talent. There's talent here. And I know talent when I see it. That was my attempt to be a talent agent. Again, I'm here all night. I'm going to be finishing up the flats for this. This is the name of the British house band's first album, Flats for This. Everyone say, let's put this up. The full fungus out loud so the universe gets used to hearing it. I don't know how Jim comes up with these titles, but they're amazing. The full fungus. I love it.
Please cut out these Among Us guys. Okay. Oh, they're cute.
And what's interesting, Jim, is you're talking about the full fungus, and Benji is drawing drawings from Among Us. Is that a coincidence?
Yeah, like it's fungus Among Us.
Exactly, Ben. Ben just said, yeah, like, is it like fungus Among Us? It's true. That is 100% true.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Benji is bouncing on the couch saying, I don't know what I'm doing. All right, guys, we're almost done with the flats. Paul Pate said the full fungus, the fullus, the full lung. Damn, I messed up. And then Jim Lujan said, oh, yeah, Josh, in tradition, you have to run that title by Mai. Okay, Mai? Huh? Jim Lujan's next animation is called The Full Fungus. Okay, you got to laugh. You got to laugh. The Full Fungus. I think that's hilarious. I have a theory about it.
What in the heck is it about?
I think it's about a music thing, and so I have a theory about it, but I don't want to blow it just in case I'm right. I'll have to ask Jim in private when we're not streaming. The next meeting of the gyms, Jim, I will I'll try to run that by your people with my people.
Your people with me.
Do people even do that anymore? That used to be a joke, like kind of a Hollywood joke where it's like, I'll have your people talk to my people and then they'll get with your people and we'll talk with our people. That kind of thing. It was like an old bit where like anytime you had like an agent or like a big shot, they're like, Have your people talk to my people. I have to ask Jim because Jim is technically a millionaire, according to the internet, which is never wrong. So, yeah, it does sound a little mafia-ish. Mai said it sounded a little mafia-ish. I agree. But I got to ask Jim because, again, there's only one millionaire in the chat. The internet says he is. Benji was like, is Jim really a millionaire? And I'm like, the internet.
People on the internet say different things about certain stuff.
Oh my gosh, I don't know if you guys can hear this.
Like this one time, people were talking about age-appropriate Luigi's Mansion.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes people said that. Sometimes people said
Uh-huh.
that Luigi's Mansion was for ages 7 and 9.
Oh.
And then another person said that Luigi's Mansion was perfect for a 6-year-old. So, yeah.
So I don't know if you guys could hear what Ben just said, but he makes a very valid point. Benjamin just told me, he was like, sometimes the internet has people that aren't telling the truth. And then he was explaining a case where Luigi's Mansion had conflicting reports of what ages it was appropriate for. And he was pretty much saying, like, so how can you trust the internet when it says Mr. Lujan is a millionaire? You guys, I'm a little scared. I think I'm raising a very smart kid. Like, imagine if a lot of people who believed in conspiracy theories just applied the logic that my 8-year-old just used.
Actually 9.
I just said 8 and he's 9. My brain.
Yeah, I'm actually 9.
Sorry, Ben.
And I'm going to turn 10 this year, right, Mom?
Yep. So, Frank said Jim's a millionaire in my heart. He's a millionaire in my heart too, and I will say the internet says so. And then Frank also said, "Is it about athletes?" That's a fair point. I mean, it is a full fungus. Frank said, "I make that joke all the time. I have no people." Where he's like, "You have your people to talk to my people," and you're like, "But I have no people." And then Frank also said, someone on the interweb said Captain Goggles and Masked Woman is not a fun comic. I think someone is telling a fib. I agree. Paul Pate said Jim is rich in personality. Jim is amazing. He's also part of the secret order of Jims, so be careful what you say, guys. Okay, we're gonna we need to
Okay.
Oh my god.
Now, can you get these out, please?
I'm gonna have the present that is in her hand be read.
Just I wanted to make the whole playable Among Us round.
Frank was saying Jim has a great personality.
Or I could just show them together.
Jim does have a great personality.
Yes. But I don't want to show you stuff. I also don't want to see. I also don't want just everyone.
I'm really excited about the full fungus, and I'll keep saying that title quite a bit. I'm curious what it's about. Jim's held this one a little close to the sleeve,
I've got a bunch of paper about
and
this.
that makes me really curious. What is it? What is it about? And he said, in the secret order of Jims, we all know Jim Cotta. I like that because I don't know if that was intentional, but the double play there where
The imposter has to eliminate
where it also could sound like Jim Carter.
with one crewmate and at least one imposter left.
That's great. You guys and your funniness. Paul said something so satisfying about putting a shadow under one of those shelves and over all those books. Come on, Josh, do it. Do it real slow. You like draw those shadows, Josh. Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
condition for the imposters is to eliminate
All right.
all crewmates until there is at most only one crewmate left.
We're almost there. We just have to color this bouquet.
One imposter.
This Bouquet Canyon Road.
So the win condition of the imposters is for there to be one or fewer crewmates left and 1 to 3 imposters left.
I want
That's the win
these to
condition
be
for imposters.
multiple colors.
If they achieve that win condition, they immediately win the game.
What's the verdict, Doc? I'm sorry, Jim, but you have the full fungus.
However, crewmates win condition.
That was,
however,
Frank's
crewmate
bit.
has
That was
2
pretty good.
possible win conditions. If one
No,
of the 2 win
I will
conditions
encourage you
are
guys, if you
completed,
haven't
then
yet, I think
crewmates
most
win.
people subscribe to my channel already follow Jim Luhan's work. But if you haven't yet, go check out Jim's YouTube channel. And before even watching his cartoons, just like read the titles. The titles of his, he's so good at titles. He comes up with the catchiest, funniest titles
Or to
for
either
pretty much all of his
or to
cartoons.
either find and eject all of the imposters off the ship, or complete every single task they have on the ship. As soon as all
And so we have this kind of
crewmates
tradition where Jim, when he comes up with a title, they tend to really crack my up. Like,
completed both of them will also make you
so he always runs his titles by my just to make sure it passes the
Oh, and by the way, just so you know, you only have
my
you only
chuckling
have
test.
to complete one win condition to have the crewmates win.
And they always pass.
My water needs to be refilled.
I think I need to have like a yellow, which is not going to happen with the way I was approaching it. I want to have that a little bit brighter. That might be too bright. Ronnie is chiming in and saying Jim is awesome. The pressure of the secret society of the Jims is creating a lot of compliments here, Jim. Everybody's like, man, yeah, Jim is great. He is phenomenal. He's a great guy. And they all have a Jim standing over their shoulder, like, say more nice things about Jim. I heard somebody say something negative about Jim once. How's it going, Ben? Stab. Oh no, Ben is the imposter, you guys.
I'm just kidding. We're not doing real life Among Us right now, Dad.
Oh, okay. I think that works. I'm going to call it. That is it for this panel. We're in pretty good standing. We have 2 panels done, and now I'm going to break for about a second. And then we're going to play Risk, guys. So if you're interested in the Risk streams, that is what is happening. I'm going to play a trailer first. Then we're going to go to our Risk cam. And we're going to rock and roll some Risk. Paul Pate said, was that a Joe Piscopo reference? Josh, yes. Can you let my wife go now, Jim, says Frank. Oh, Jim was saying, since we're all family here, I'll tell you, the Full Fungus reference is a jazz musical piece. I like it. I had a feeling it was kind of similar to that. All right, guys. We're going to play the trailer, and then we're going to play a game of Risk. So let's go to our Risk cam. Boom. And then I will do my setup where I get rid of the obnoxious banner that Corey Kerr always teases me for because it's huge. There we go. And we're going to do our scrolling banner. So we're all set up to rock and roll. Where is it? There it is. Oh no, it's Jim Lujan. That was me doing Jim Lujan's website on the scrolling banner. Okay. I explain jokes. That's what I do here. Okay, and then we're gonna do. Oh, Johnny Dangerously, Frank was saying. Great movie. It is a great movie. All right, guys. I'm going to play the trailer for... I'm going to play Wordzoid because Jim is in the chats. He's talking about The Full Fungus, his upcoming movie. And what better to prep you for Jim Lujan than an ad by Jim Lujan? Here it is.
Well, Peter, since I'm such a big music fan, I'm going to have to go with Karen Carpenter. Oh, Stu, I'm sorry. That's the incorrect answer. Trish, what you got for us?
I'm going to go with Kim Gordon.
All right, let's check that answer. Kim Gordon. Do we have a Kim Gordon? Yes, and that means you're our new Wordzoid champion, Trish. Dale, tell Trish what she's won. Trish, you've won a copy of 2 stories, a memoir of faith and mental illness. Handwritten, hand-drawn, and handed to you by artist and writer Joshua Kemble. But wait, that's not all. You've also won a copy of Jacob's Apartment, the story of a doomed romance. What happens when you take Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind and put it in a blender with Ghost World? You get Jacob's Apartment, written and illustrated by Joshua Kemble. Trish, thank you for playing Wordzoid.
All right, great job, Trish.
I was told I was going to get a lifetime supply of paper towels.
All right. You guys ready for Risk? I might have had everybody bail because they may not like the Risk streams. We'll see. Good evening, folks, said Philip. How's it going, Philip? Frank said, not as great as Jim. Paul Pate was saying great movie. Ronnie was saying how you play this. Okay, and then Paul was saying if one of your opponents is Perry Rodgers, pay no mind. It isn't Gary Hodges. That's true. Are you giving me secret intel? All right, guys, we're gonna kind of join a game. It doesn't. Oh, that was 1v1. I don't want 1v1. Let's try this again. New update available. Oh, no, I don't. I guess I have to update. So we're going to go back to our full cam. Sorry, guys. The technically proficient game. So I have to update my app. I did not know that. Wouldn't it be funny if I update and it's just like no longer master setting? It's like, sorry, dude. You have to start from game over. The princess is in another castle. You're like, oh, man. Risk. Philip said, I'm meh. I was going to draw along, but I'll draw while you play. Nice. If there's a Hank Halazar, it isn't me. I love this. I actually would be really cracking up if suddenly I look at these things and there's just like a him Huhan and like there's all these names. There's a Raoul Rate, and I'm like, wait a minute, that sounds a bit like Paul Pate. All right, guys.
No, it was you.
Now it is time for us to
These are
rock some business. Okay.
These are
Risk cam back.
goggles.
Battle. Let's join. There's 19 games open. I want to find a good, that's a pretty good option. Let's go to that 5-player.
And this guy voted this. And this guy voted Dirt.
No bots yet, which is cool.
Dream Dirtface.
And I'll walk you guys through the process as I go. And by the way, yes, I am wearing an Is Your Refrigerator Running t-shirt.
No imposters remain.
Hey, Bruce Win. You can take your bath, man.
Hey, check it out.
CB Smallwood in the chats. How's it going, CB?
I made a bunch of.
What you working on?
bunch of-
Now that the Wildcat anthology is done, have you done all your fulfillments? Okay, I'm in first position. I think I have to take Africa. I would be crazy not to. My only competitor in this is Purple,
Always have the report used.
but I kind of need to take Africa. So I think what we do is take Africa. I'm also in position where I could take North America, but I think I'll do Africa. I might regret this if Purple's a really bad player. Do we consolidate our 3 and 5? Yes, we do. We're going to do the slow play for Africa. I should have... It's interesting. We'll see how crazy people get for Australia. Everybody goes nuts for Australia. Who tries for Australia? Looks like Red wants Australia. I think Purple... I don't know if Purple plays for Australia or if they take what they should. Like, if Purple's smart, they actually take South America. Maybe they're crazy and they try to take both. And we got White coming in. Philip was saying, does your refrigerator wear sneakers? CB said, I'm working on layouts for Wildcat Dead Man Walking. I've got sidetracked, though. I started doing pages for the New Hundreds anthology, a story called Star Fury. Nice. Yeah, I'm really excited about them getting the Hundreds anthology going again. I would probably participate, but I have to do this like crazy book. What I'm curious about is Purple's play. Does Purple just stubbornly hold on to like everything, or do they start securing a territory? It'll show you how seasoned. Purple doesn't look like a new player though, so I think they move into South America. That's like the best move they can make. But who knows? You never know with these players. Purple might also make a play for Australia, but I think they look like a competent player. I think they move into South. Yeah. And they can securely take it like right now. Purple's in a really good spot. Purple might actually even be able to get Australia. What they should do is move their 4 onto their 4 because it protects them from that 5. That was perfect play by Purple. I want to start consolidating my troops. Like, it would be nice to have that 5. But it's like, I'm kind of in a rough position here. So what I'm going to do is move my 2 down. And I'm going to lose a few too many troops to do it. But now I'm kind of in a rough position with Purple, so I'm just going to fatten up my 7 here. So Red's going to make their play for Australia or die. I don't understand everyone's obsession with Australia. So they're just fattening up their Australia, and they're trying to, I don't know what they're doing. They're taking cards exteriorly, but I don't think Red has a chance. Well, maybe Red holds Australia, but I think Purple actually takes Australia possibly next turn. They might also move into Africa. Frank said, if that isn't a shirt, it should be. Everyone goes nuts for Australia. I think Australia or die would be a good shirt for like Risk fans. It's just like it's literally every new player's strategy is like they will kill themselves for Australia. And my 3 is in the way, but like nobody's going to move to clear my 3. They're going to take out my 3, eat a lot of their troops. By the time they take Australia, they're going to be at a really bad spot. But they might have Australia. Purple might get this game because Purple is playing really well. And now they have the cards so they can start making a play for Australia. They're going to break my 3. Good move. I would have done the same. And they're going to move that 8. Maybe they move that 8 down to their 2. No, they don't. But they are definitely blocking Australia from winning. Purple is good. You got to give Purple credit in this game. So right now I'm 1 step from taking Africa. Can still get my clock cleaned pretty soon, but I still have my 5 and my 4 in exterior positions, which makes me really happy. CB said I'm going for somewhat classic Marvel look from some with some 90s edge. Yeah, for those of you who may not be familiar with CB's stuff, Red is lost now. Red really wants Australia. And Purple just put a big middle finger in the face of Red saying, no, I'm taking Australia. White is close to taking North America, but that's not a good play. White can't hold North America, but they're close. But White doesn't have much fortification either, so Purple can break White. That's a good question, Frank. He said, will Purple reign? Purple will reign. Purple reign, Purple reign. You know? Purple Ron. Jim Lujan shout out there. Philip Chandler said, I miss the rains down in Africa. And when you say it, you have to say it like, I miss the rains down in Africa. All right. Purple is just dominating this game. And Red is in, like, Red needs to give up on Australia. I hate to say it. Or hang back. Like, if you're Red, maybe you move your 8 back. You let Purple kind of gradually clear Australia. Oh, they're letting Red in. Purple is not a bad player. I'm impressed by Purple. Maybe it is Prince. Like, maybe Prince has come back. So I'm going to take Africa now. I'm going to move my my 10 up so I'm in attack position for whoever breaks me. This is an interesting game. Purple definitely has the lead. They're the board lead. I'm in second. Oh, wait, I'm the board lead right now. I'm the board lead. But see, Red is so dumb. Red, what are you doing? Red is Australia obsessed, right? They have this 8 hovering above them. Now, Purple's really smart because I think Purple read that about Red. So you got to realize, like, Purple has a cash-in of cards, like, on their next turn. They have 4 cards. It's pretty unlikely they don't get to cash in. They probably are going to have 10 troops that they get to add to that 8. So rather than having to blast through Red to just or get Red out of the way to take Australia, I don't know if they take Australia, but if Purple has ambitions to take Australia, Red just made those ambitions super easy, and they didn't even fortify their 6. So now Purple's in kill position for Red, and they can, if they have a cash in, potentially like take Australia with a little bit of cost, but red is just, again, like red is myopically focused on Australia. I think red also breaks my territory on the next turn because red is a newer player for sure. Blinding Lights is a great song to listen to when you're conquering the world. Nice. I didn't know that. CB Smallwood said Napoleon or Alexander would like it. Nice. Oh, I guess Philip, when he was saying I missed the names down in Africa, was secretly like on his own going, I miss the rain down in Africa. And just nobody was around to hear it. Purple breaks me here. Maybe not. I really do think Purple's a pretty competent player. I don't know if they want to go to war. If you're playing a really smart South America game, you want to kind of keep cool. I'm going to bring my 4 in. You want to keep cool with your neighbors, especially at this point in the game, especially with Africa, because Africa has 3 threats, right? Africa has 3 defense points, right? 3 choke points. And so I'm having to fend off Europe, Europe, South America, and then to my right, I'm having to fend off. Yeah, he's gonna break me. He's a new player. Maybe not. And I'm having to fend off Australia. Oh, they're playing ultimate turtle strategy too. They move their 22 in a position that's non-threatening where they can't even move it out. Frank said, Purple's so great, I think he's secretly Jim. Well, whoever Purple is, let's see what their name is. Werner Yamada 31. I don't think they're an expert or a master. They might be, but they're a good player. Like the way they've been playing this. So they're doing the ultimate South America play because them having that 11 out, there's a couple things they've done that showed me they're really sophisticated. One is rather than duke it out for Australia, which who needs Australia, especially when you're dominating Australia like that. So what you want if you're South America is an exterior position so you can collect cards while you're in Asia. And you don't have to go to war with your neighbors. Because the weak point, the weakness of holding South America is if your exterior troops all get killed out, then you have to go to war with your neighbors. And usually very early on if you don't set up that exterior position. White is getting owned right now by orange. That was a very aggressive play by orange. And white has 4 cards, so I'm happy because that means orange just started a war with white. So if purple doesn't clear white out in this turn, which purple could do for those 4 cards, might not be a bad play, actually. But I think purple doesn't. So now what we have is white. Do I eat white? No, I don't want to. Should I break orange? Because they're so cocky? Do I want to break orange? I think I want to just let orange. I think I want to be friendly with orange. So I'm just going to fortify my 27. Why do I need to break orange? Orange is really dominating. That was super aggressive. If I wanted to, I could clean out all of Europe. And I'm kind of closing off that option by kind of ignoring orange. But I think orange is playing so haphazardly that they kill themselves. I think red inevitably at some point is going to break me. That's the classic Australia play. Australia's best target is Africa. The best 2 places to move if you're Australia is you move from Australia to Africa after you turtle for a little bit, or you move from Australia to North America. But purple is playing a really solid game. I'm very impressed by purple. Frank said, I need to share this. Hold on. I should pay attention to the game too. I hope white has a cash in. If they don't have a cash in, they're out of the game. Purple is so great. I think he's secretly Jim. And then he also said, please, Jim, release my children. And then Philip Chandler said, I used to play green on the physical board game, but there's no green in this version. There is a green, I believe, when you play 6-player. Right now we're in a 5-player. The best games are 6-player. Okay, white can cash in, and white, if you're white, how do you feel about orange? I'm a little surprised they didn't even take cards. That's weird. Like, if you're white, why didn't you take a card at that point? That's really suspicious and kind of weird. So someone's got to eat that 14 for the cards. Oh, except there's no cards, so it's barely worth it now. So now purple's in a rough position because purple has to start getting aggressive to orange. They kind of just have to. Maybe they opt to move their 11, though, but I think they start aggressively attacking orange. They might go through me to do it. That way they get a double hit. Purple's not going to stop orange. Interesting.
You've said that twice now.
Benji said, you've said that twice now. I am the board lead right now, which is kind of fun. So my goal right now is just without creating hostilities at all. Like, how do I encourage infighting between my neighbors? I don't want to break orange because that starts a contention between me and orange. And I want orange and purple fighting. I like that 16 up there because that's kind of a threat to red. I also like that white is right above red too. And I think white maybe suicides someone. It'd be interesting if white suicided me. I'm not sure why they would. I actually would like to move my 5. So I'm hoping that white has like a vendetta against orange. Maybe breaks orange's 6. I'd like them to move so I could save my 5. They're splitting up. They're trying to card block, which is a really bad move. Maybe not. Maybe they're second guessing it. That was a really bad move. They just made themselves food for red on their next turn. Does red take the bait? Does purple take the bait? It's 2 cards now. It's a little bit more interesting. Frank said, as a white man, I feel great, which is hilarious because Frank is not white. Let's see here. Yeah, I think this is a really interesting game. The question is, like, when does purple decide to be a little more proactive about orange? Because we're kind of cool. I don't think purple has a reason to break me yet. Although I am board lead. So that makes me a target for everyone. But I think purple kind of sees it like... It is so tempting, though. Like, why shouldn't I eat? Really hard to be patient and not eat orange and just take Europe when I'm in position to do so. So here's what's going to happen. If I don't see purple and orange kind of going at each other, I think do I break orange? Or do I let orange I think I let orange slide and let other people break orange. Red is getting really annoyed with the 5 and the 12 above their head. I would like to move my 5 over. I'd like to retain those troops if I can. I like that position, though. As long as they don't kill my exterior 5, I'm pretty happy. because I can always pump up that exterior 5 if I get cards, which is kind of cool. I can't help but think that white is not a seasoned player because their moves aren't making any sense. Splitting your forces like that is just making you an easier target. And it's making you easier for red to take out. And red can afford to eat you. Because don't forget to look under the 19. The red has 27 troops. So if they get irritated enough, I am glad to see that. That's great. So orange has not secured America, but man, orange is definitely board lead next turn at least. And who's going to break orange? No one's in position except me or purple. And purple's in an awkward position because if they want to break, I mean, they can do the double break. I'm leaving things open, so if somebody wants to break, they can. Purple's a really good player, though. I got to give them credit. Yeah, me and orange are cool, so I don't see a reason to break the peace. Plus, I'm building my army. But orange, when they cash in cards, is going to come at purple because they're going to try to close out. I think first what they might aim to do is take out purple's exterior position. Red and I are playing a very similar game here where we want to see orange and purple go at it. I'm still shocked that, like, how is white even alive is a good question. Cool, I get the cash in for 10 cards. I will say after this risk game is done, I'm going to probably have to go do book time with Ben. So we're going to probably end the stream after this risk game. Yeah, orange is receiving 10 troops per turn now. And no one's breaking orange. And I kind of might have to because I am table lead, kind of. Except, to be honest, it should be on purple because purple's actually in second now. And orange is in first. And they're going to break my continent here, maybe? Orange is in bad straits, though, if they break my territory. I'm confused why maybe purple's been waiting for a cash-in. I'm not sure why purple hasn't broken orange. Okay, they're going to take those cards. That's good. Those are 4 cards. This might be purple's game. It's not going to take that long to take Europe if you're purple. Purple could very confidently hit Europe. But purple's a really good player, so I think purple might see the end game where they're like, hey, if we play it cool, you and me, orange, we'll both be in the end game together. Yeah, let's see, who's in first? I'm in first, so I don't want to create hostilities. It's funny, this game is shifting all over the place for sizes. But I have no incentive to start a war as long as I'm first. In fact, as I'm first, my incentive is to prevent a war with myself. So we'll just have to kind of wait it out and see. This is a little bit boring of a game. But I want someone to break me to give me an excuse. Does red finally break orange? Thank you, red. That was red saying, what are you doing, orange? Because I have to admit, orange is kind of being a little strange. Like, what does orange think? Orange is not going to hold that territory. And I've let myself be in a position where purple, whenever they want to attack orange, they can go through me. Again, this like kind of splitting yourself up into tiny chunks play where you're, I think, card blocking. It's not the best play. Because what they're doing is making their exterior position very vulnerable. I think I don't break orange because I want orange kind of mad at red. And again, I think I'm still table lead. Like right now I have 83. Red has 70. Also, orange has 4 cards. So do you want to piss off somebody with extra ammunition? I think orange does something to get back at red. They're in a pretty rough position, though. They can't really get back at red. What I want to see is orange hit that 13 of purple. Purple's in second place. Purple's got 76 troops, and they have 5 cards. So if they're going to make a big play, they're in a pretty good position to do so. Red has just made one of the ultimate errors of that position and closed off their 38 from attack. Or their 36. Like, they can't move their 36 unless somebody breaks those ones in front of it. Is this where orange makes their move? It is. Orange has now made enemies with purple, and they have now gone way too far, so I have to break them. Because you can't hold 2 continents. You don't have enough troops yet, dude. But we'll see what purple does, because purple is now in threat. Purple needs to retaliate. So maybe I don't break orange. If purple breaks orange, I don't. Sweet, we got purple and orange in a battle. We have red and orange kind of in a battle. Orange has made 2 enemies. I'm so far Mr. Cool at the table. I'm the kind guy. I'm going to unlock that 36. And I'm patiently waiting, but I think it's about time to move. Yep.
We're going to take the dog's pen. She just needs to get out of the tub at
Okay.
some point.
So it's only a little bit of time before I move. Red's in a pretty good position, but unless they move their troops out, they're not really in a great position. And also red is making enemies with orange, so I kind of want to see this play out. Like, cost each other some troops, guys. Purple has lost their continent, but purple can move through me to hit orange if they want to. I'm in a pretty good position to hit orange, though, if I need to. And if purple and I are in an alliance right now, I would be like, go ahead and attack my territory. It's cool. Hit orange. That's beautiful. So in this game, much like in reality, war is really costly. And so if you're going to get into war, you want to make sure you can afford the price you're paying, right? I think here, just to kind of be with the board, I'm going to hit orange once. And it also keeps my 81 free to be mobile. And at my next card cash in, I don't want to move too quick, because right now I am definitely board lead. But people are costing themselves troops in a conflict, and I'm not the target of the conflict, which is kind of good news. Red makes the same error again. That's beautiful. That keeps me open to make it in action. So if I'm in position to move against purple or orange, and I pull the trigger, we should be okay. Let's see, purple, orange. Purple's at 57, orange is at 69. I'm not in play to move yet. Almost. If I can keep these tensions high and enjoy them conflicting, I also don't have a card cash in next turn, which is kind of a bummer. Does orange break my territory? Orange hits purple. I love it. You guys just war each other. Cost each other troops. I love it. Get yourselves closer to a point where I can eat you. Keep an eye on red, too. Depending on how good of a player red is, when do they move that 27 to their 43? Orange also started a war they can't sustain. It's very interesting. Purple might turn on me at this point. They might be doing the math pretty soon and going like, wait a minute, we can't sustain this war. But I think purple is mad at orange. Purple wants orange off the face of this planet. Yes. War of attrition, guys. This is great. Are the numbers stacked up? I'm at 93, 40 plus 55. Orange has 4 cards. Next turn, I eat orange. I have 4 cards. I hit orange. I break through. This is a good place to be. Okay, let's have fun. We're just going to eat orange. I want to be in position to eat most of purple, too. Can I eat purple? I kind of might be able to eat purple, so let's do this. I don't know if I eat all of purple, but purple's pretty much out of the game. Oh, no! No! Oh, that could have been the game, guys. Red eats purple. They get the 2 cards. Oh, and they get a cash in. I still probably win this game, but they're going to move their 27 to their 40. Well, they're still split, so that's good news. Oh, I should have done 1 extra 1. Red's not a bad player either. Maybe they know, but maybe they just go to break territory. Oh, they're not a good player. Okay. I have a cash in. I'm really excited about that. This game might be over, guys. Where do they move their 20? Oh, only their 27? They're going to keep their 40. Oh, I love it. So they're in a bad spot. I still might win this game. We're at 88 versus 65, so the odds aren't great for me. I like that they split their troops and their players. But I think what I do right now, okay, I'm going to just take as much as I can. So in this case, we're going to go, I want to kind of move down and hit their 43. They do have a card turn in because of my bad play with purple, though. So this game may not be mine, but I think it's looking pretty good. I have really good dominance over the board, but they do have 27 troops. to eventually hit. But it is 46 to 69. Now it's 81. Yeah, they win this game. Crimson Owl said, hell yeah, Josh, you can do it. Not really. It's a worthy try. If I had hit purple, I would have had this. I miscalculated. And honestly, red isn't playing bad because right now they're doing exactly what you should do. At this point in the game, it's not about continents. I've mentioned that before. At this point in the game, it's about taking every dot of territory you can. So them doing just this slow crawl to take as much territory without breaking continents, like they don't need to worry about my countries. And the countries they do need to worry about, they just broke. So honestly, they're in pretty good standing to just win this game right now. I'm going to go ahead and say good game. That was well played by red. That was my miscalculation on purple. If I had gotten those 2 cards, they wouldn't have had that cash in. I would have had them with their pants down. They did leave 1 troop, though. Oh, and they ran out of time. Okay, guys. I did get 7, so that's good. I think what I do is we definitely start moving through Asia. This is a game I will not win, but I still have a shot. So we will just kind of take as much as we can in Asia. Don't want them holding that much territory, and then we'll kind of go ahead and end it. I think they take me this next turn, though. They're going to win this game. Yeah, 9 cards. And their next cash in will be like 18 cards. Like, this game is over. 19 to 73. The math is not looking good for me. It was worth a shot, though. That was my window. I just needed to take that purple. So I should have probably put a little more than 10 troops there. Not my best game, not my worst game. That was a bad play. They should have kept going. It's okay, though. They have this game. Bad play or good play. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm going to get like 3 cards here. Yep. Game over. Still, worthwhile. Let's go ahead and break. Can I get to America? I don't think I can even get to America. I should have probably just stuck to Asia. Yep. Game over. Fun game, though. Yes, we're definitely out. Well, thanks for watching my Risk game. I didn't play the best. I didn't play the worst. I came in second, which isn't too bad. Miscalculated on the purple, but it was time to move while they were landlocked. If I had hit that purple, I'd be in really good standing right now. And that's it. I'm sure these were not seasoned players. We'll have to find out. General the Fist, I don't think is a seasoned player. 500 points is a good sign. That means maybe there were some seasoned players in there. Nope, it was beginners and intermediate. So I lose a little bit of ranking on there, but whatever. It was a fun game. All right, guys. Have a good day. I'm going to go ahead and close out and read books to my kid, and then I will be back. And when I come back, this page will be colored, right? We're going to work on coloring that page. But for now, I really appreciate you guys hanging out in the chats. Have a creative art night, and I'll see you in about, I don't know, maybe 2 hours, where I will be working on coloring the rest of this. So if you guys are up at around like 8:30 or 8:40, I'll be back on working on coloring comics. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. All right. Have a good night, and I will see you on the next live stream. Bye.